Alrighty, guys. So it is 3:30, time to wrap it up for today. And I have not been trading much today. I took one Nasdaq trade and that was it. I'll show you that later. But man, look at this volatility. I guess something came out headline wise. I saw something about the energy, an energy presentation or something. I'm not sure what it was, but a lot of volatility back and forth here right before 2 o'clock, and then off they went, took off like a rocket. And yeah, so I mean, I haven't been trading it. I was watching this for a potential go with type of trade since we took out that 6110 level. That's the dynamic. That's what we talked about. They take out this area resistance, the 6110, and you had a pretty good edge, a little bit higher than I thought, and the 6112. But when I came out, that was just a straight shot to the upside. And we are way up there. Now we are on our way up to test the highs now. So it looks to me like we may have a move out of the middle to the upside. Let's see if they can keep this going. So definitely pretty good move to the upside, and we'll see if they can hold it. If they hold above 6110, going into the overnight, we're starting from the long side of the market. We're going to buy weakness at this point against the 6120, 6110s, down to the 61, 6095. So rotations back up. Below 6095, go back range bound, and then things are reversing. That's kind of the dynamic to get started. I'm not quite sure what they came out. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it had to do with some of these headlines coming out throughout the day. This always keeps happening, but there's no news really scheduled here. But you could see how that volatile, like crazy, got for a bit, and then suddenly it just took off. Looking at our Nasdaq and the bonds, um, bond market way back up again, right up to the 115s again. So that's completely reversed the whole move down from yesterday. So we are back up, yields are back down again, and okay, fine. So bond market is not having a hissy fit anymore. So CPI, PPI, both of them were harder than expected, but I guess they reading behind the lines is a little bit too much variations. Maybe may not been as bad as people thought. So starting off range bound on the bonds around 115. No reason to do anything else on that guy. Nasdaq, look at the Nasdaq takeoff. That is crazy. So they are right up here, up against the 2280s upper area resistance. Watch it. If they can take this out, the 90s, we may be in all-time high type territory. Big vol low volume area ahead of us, but we are way up here against this upper edge. So I would be looking for a short setup against the 50s and the 90s. Right now they're above the 50s, and 90s are what we got to work with. And I would do it with a bit of caution because right now it looks very much like we potentially could bust through this area, and that would not be really good in terms if you're on a short side of that. So a little bit of caution. It looks like we may have a move out of the middle to the upside in the works. And if that's the case, you don't want to be necessarily aggressively fading it. But definitely at this level, the 90s, 80 and 90s could be a nice short trade if they can't take it higher. But man, that is a pretty good move to the upside. Also, the same dynamic there. It's pretty sloppy in the okay. I've seen that. Pretty sloppy here in the middle of the range. And I was watching it, trying to figure out what to do. And since I couldn't, they were pretty volatile here, I just kind of left it. Watch it a little bit later, but I could not find a spot to really get in. We're not paying that close attention. But getting in on the pullback would have worked pretty good this time. So we're back up here against that upper area. Let's see if they can bust through this. We are on our way higher, that's for sure. And then finally, oil and gold. And okay, so hang on. The trade I took on the Nasdaq, just to show you that there's one trade here that was earlier on. That was after the first run up here against the to the 50s. They started trading lower. Nice move down. And this kind of stuff, I asked, this is so typical. Usually either it's going to hold and going to run me over, or they're going to run it a little bit lower. And I was talking about these single prints, right? They see single prints from this morning. That's what that was right there. So I got short here. I got shaken out of that trade though. And then look at that. They just ran it all the way down there. So I missed that trade, but that was frustrating. Anyway, so that's the only trade I took so far. So that's the shakeout trade on that. And then finally, oil and gold. To the upside, gold is trading higher, taking out the highs, overnight highs at 29.50. So they're in price discovery, not in price discovery quite yet, but they're up here in these upper areas, heading up towards the 67, 68. So I would look at gold from the long side, looking to buy weakness at this point against the 29.50s, against the mode at the 29.44, and then against this low here at the 29.34s for rotations back up. So leaning long below that 34, 35 area. I would take off the long bias and go back range bound. And then finally, oil. Back up again, a little pop to the upside after this rotation down in the overnight. Not quite going very far to the upside, so I would just look for short setups against that 71.40s and the 71.70s for rotations back down at this point. And if they trade up above 71.70s, I'll take off the short bias and really go back range bound. But I'm looking for some early strength to get short against for rotations back down. That's kind of the dynamic. So we'll see if this one is a move to the upside, get some legs, then well maybe it could trade a little bit higher. But I'm thinking short out of the market, so I would be looking for these against these two areas for rotations back down. All right, back to the ES, and so far, okay, still holding on against these upper areas. The news for tomorrow, Friday. We got a lot of news. We have retail sales, import-export prices at 8:30, industrial production at 9:15, business inventories at 10. So I think we got 8:30, 9:15, and 10. We got some news going on tomorrow. I think in between 8:30 and 9:15, I think the bulk of the reactions are going to come. All right, so that's a Friday. It's Friday stuff we have in front of us, but pretty darn good rally going into the close here. So we'll see if they can hold on to that. That's a pretty good move. Alrighty, guys, I'll leave it there for now, and I'll see you back bright and early in the morning. Have a good evening. Later.